Oh, welcome back my gardening friends. Well, it's definitely getting cold. Well into September now, and we've got to get a few jobs done. I've managed to harvest the performer potatoes, and I've managed to get quite a nice one for Malvern. Some of the beds now have been put to sleep. They've either had manure on them or greenfield beans, etc. Green manure. I've removed all the leaves off the tomatoes to help them ripen and prevent any late blight getting to me. Unfortunately, I can't do anything with these other than keep harvesting them. Keep harvesting, they'll keep giving. But I think that's the last of the flowers on the tomatoes. I'd like to tidy the bean structure up, salvage what I can after those high winds, but we're waiting for some more of the beans to dry up so I can save them for seed. I'm going to find it very difficult this year now to find out which are the Liberty, etc. So I shall probably just take what I can and just plant them. Does it really matter what variety they are, as long as you're not buying seeds every year? And hopefully we'll have a long bean for Malvern. These are some of those that haven't made it, or they have made it, or it's too early. As we all know, beans do grow quickly, so we've still got a week or so, 2 weeks before the show, so we may get a good one. The rats haven't found the sweet corn, so I haven't had to put my socks on. Last year we well, I've got holes in my socks anyway, where a big toe sticks through. But if those haven't actually gone brown yet, I used to just slip the sock over, let those hang out so they can get pollinated. But the ones that are on are now filled out nicely. I had a couple earlier, but they hadn't filled out properly. So I'll be taking another 2 of these today, ready for Sunday dinner. Green manure. Now, it's not too late to sow green manure, but it's best to do it while the weather's reasonably good. We've got 3 varieties here. We've got the green field beans, we've got the winter tares, and the white clover, or a weed. We don't know, not until they get established. But that's looking good. That'll keep that bed nicely protected, and the bed is low enough so that I can chop and drop and then cover with any surplus materials we've got. And talking of surplus materials, we found 1,200 litres of the cocoa coir. That's all stacked there. I haven't seen any fly tips since August 2023. We managed to get 80 litres from just a little find, but it was nice to get that 1,200 litres. And then a couple of weeks later we got this. I would imagine we've got the same again to empty out and clean. They're only small pots, and they've got very small roots on them, so again, not a brilliant grow, and not too many weeds. But we've absolutely had about 4 inches of rain in the last month, and this is absolutely soaking wet now after another downpour. But we've got that to bag up. I'm estimating over probably nearly 1,500 litres there, just at a quick look. And then we spotted another one. There's 26 bags there with 2 of these in. They're 22 litres, so I've classed it as 20 litres. So they're 6-gallon bags. Quite nice material. A little bit of perlite in where the root is, up the top there. But again, the root's doing nothing, and that equates to that. So I'm saying about 20 litres. So we've got about 1,200 litres, no sorry, 1,020 litres of compost there, nicely stacked out the way. And as you can see, the blackberries are desperately wanting to be pruned or tied in. Massive amount of fruit off the bushes this year. Just going to let the fruit go now, and if I do find the odd fruit that I can carefully pick off, I pull the stalk out, excuse me, but it's not as nice tasting as earlier on in the season. These won't get pruned back until between Christmas and New Year. Yum yum. So now is a good time to start thinking about any changes before the winter really does set in. We've had a good frost with ice scraping the windscreen, so I need to start filling these up. Again, some more beds here, look, that have all been put to sleep. We've got 4-year-old leaf mould on that one, and then again some more green manure, and hopefully that's my celery for Malvern if I do get a chance to go. And I must pick the pears off before the bees, etc., wasps attack them, and once they do, they soon go rotten. And if we get any more cold spells, I need to get my potatoes into the polytunnel. But the tomatoes are still doing really well. These beds are going to be emptied, the pallet collars reused. I've got a few new ones there, so I've got to sort those. These have got to be moved. 3 of these are going in the polytunnel. Already made a start on taking the material out. It's lovely stuff. All this material that we stacked up from the pallet collars over there. But you do really appreciate how well the compost mix is when you dig them out. I try and do no dig, but with giant vegetables sometimes you have to take a few layers out, put some manure in, and then pop it all back in again. But all these have got to come out, but I've got tulip bulbs in there that I've got to sift out. Don't want tulips all over the allotments. I'm tempted to tidy up the wildlife area, but while there's still some flowers there and some of the seed heads are popping open, this is where all these come from. I'm going to leave that for a little bit longer, and then we can tidy up the bug hotel. I can definitely pull that weed out because Mr. Badger there and all the other animals that are protecting this need to be able to see what they're doing. And I've started dismantling this wildlife area here because these tanks, there's 2 of those tanks in a row there, they're going to be filled with materials, and I'm going to grow in the shade of the holly hedge to see if I can get lettuce, etc., to grow without going to seed too quickly. But I've removed a few of those. They'll be used to hold the materials down on top of the beds, like the cardboard, etc. But I don't want any creatures, especially hedgehogs, going into there, even though I could probably leave the hedgehog house in there. But some of these others, I don't want to be dismantling it later on, late autumn, when I find that creatures have already decided to live there over winter. Then I'll have to put everything on hold. Don't really want to have to do that. Thistles, absolutely prolific with the little fairies, and the compost bin's sunk down a little bit more. As it gets cooler, I'll drop the lid, but when we've had the warmer weather, I don't want the worms to cook and try and migrate out of my giant wormery. The tomatoes, cucumber and peppers haven't done brilliantly in here this time. For some reason, polytunnel and outdoor tomatoes have done well. The marrowbone looks good, but it's just got a little bit of a split in it now. But if that does get to ripen up, that's a beautiful tomato. One slice on a piece of bread is more than enough. And there's a view of the 2 layers of plastic. First layer goes in like that, and then I put another one on the top, and then somebody made a comment that they put cardboard down the sides, so I'm going to try that with one of these beds, or 2 of the beds, etc. And I can see how it works, because the cardboard will rot down, leave a gap, and the soil should settle nice and gently without dragging the plastic with it. So the comments have helped me there, so many thanks to that viewer for making that suggestion and sharing his gardening experiences. That helps others. So a little job I can do today is to remove these tomatoes. Most of them have either not produced or not grown. These are the ones that we folded and abused early on, because they're supposed to be giant tomatoes. We didn't get a big one, but I'm going to move these 3 plants now. A couple of them, or 3 of them, are in the Spider Farmer cloth bags, and I'll bring those others over. It's well worth putting them on bricks to keep them off the ground, saves them rotting. And lining them just helps protect the wood. So I'm now just going to top them up. This is the soil that was in the bottom of these. Still recycling those bags we found. The soil really does hold on to the moisture well, as you can see here in the bottom of the polytunnel. A few stones, I don't mind that, still take them out though. And then this is midway. I'm going to put one bag in. This is my homemade compost, really nice material, the worms love it. Just break the other lumps up. Some of this is old manure from the other layers. That doesn't stop me from giving it a little layer of manure now. This is my well rotted manure. Just have to keep the worms happy for as long as we can. We'll top this up a bit more now. Remember, all these materials are free. You just need to spend a bit of time in collecting them. These beds will sink nicely. The rest of the manure. That's what our plants are going to enjoy, and the worms. If we can encourage the worms to do all the digging for us, then all the better. Right, 2 more bags out here. Get those on if I can get my gloves off. Oh dear, a bit stuck. And then we'll top it up with cardboard. I'll try the other glove. There we go. Of course, I do like my beds to be nice and flat. Pop a piece of cardboard on. Don't need to put anything on that other than if it starts to warp. But having something on there, the moisture can't escape and it stays reasonably damp. The gaps each side, cardboard doesn't fit. But I can actually water the cardboard, the water will run to the sides and keep it moist over the winter. As the sweat's tiddling out of him on this cold morning. But autumn and winter doesn't mean that gardening's got to stop. We're waiting for the last bits of harvest. So why not do a few jobs like this? Because nobody wants to do it in spring because we're busy growing seedlings. So all being well, over the winter I'll be continuing to do what I'm doing. So now all I've got to do is tidy my mess up. I've dug down as deep as I can here to get as much soil out. I don't just drop my beds onto the existing floor. Quite hard. It could be quite soft. I've got to remember, I've got to keep this part solid because the beds are going to be moved over slightly. That can go in the bottom of the other beds. We've had some wood chips in it. We'll get this area all done. Don't want to get too close to there because these are all coming out. But at least now I can get the wheelbarrow around. It's a good time of the year to refresh all your paths. September time when they start cutting the trees again after the nesting birds. Mrs. K will be getting up soon and she'll be cracking that whip again to try and get the bulk of the decorating done before she goes into hospital. Thank you for everyone that left a heart on one of those videos I posted. If you don't watch to the end, guys, you never know what you're going to miss. Ugh. And wood chips are warm. Good couple of hours this morning, tidying up. I've got the comfrey that's spreading. I've got to dig that out. Lots of little jobs to do, but that was one of the bigger jobs. Just now I can get round here to my leaf mould so I can top all these other beds up. If you like the content, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down for the interaction. Join in with the comments, comment on whatever you like. I do like to be able to answer questions, but if I can't answer them, people in the comments will. Happy gardening to you all. Till next time, my friends. Ta-ra for now. I'll be glad to go home for a rest. That's a fact, I think I'll be glad to go to work for a rest.